Another not too subtle warning left by the gangs: human skulls.
The skulls are usually elected there in order to intimidate us, like sending a message, hey, don't make an attempt of coming through this street. We are here.
Something hits the hatch above us. The smell of petrol engulfs us.
It's very dangerous. It's dangerous. Of course it is.
Violence is intensifying in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, this week, which saw a United Nations helicopter hit by gunfire and two gangs apparently target U.S. Embassy vehicles. Two armed vehicles belonging to the U.S. Embassy in Haiti were fired upon by the criminal groups, I quote, 400 Mawozo, end of quote, and, I quote, Shen Mekan, end of quote. No injuries were reported, but the U.S. vehicles are believed to have been intentionally targeted, the security source said. The attacks, along with an increase in gang activity around the embassy's vicinity, have prompted embassy officials to begin the process of evacuating up to 20 diplomatic staff from the capital.
The political process, despite initial advances, which I reported already in July, is now facing significant challenges, turning hope into deep concern.
The evacuation of, I quote, non-emergency, end of quote, diplomatic workers will be rolled out in the coming days, end of quote, the second source said. Also on Thursday, a humanitarian helicopter used by the UN's World Food Programme, WFP, in the country was hit by heavy gunfire as it was airborne over Port-au-Prince, causing the agency to cancel Friday's scheduled flights. Pictures shared show at least 8 bullet holes on the helicopter, fuselage, and what appears to be its rotor system. The helicopter, which was clearly marked as a UN aircraft, was carrying 18 people when it was hit, according to a WFP statement. No one was injured in the incident, and the aircraft was able to land safely. WFP spokesperson Shaza Maghrabi, agency is still trying to establish what happened. I quote, humanitarian air transport is essential to delivering a response across Haiti, end of quote. The WFP statement also said many roads in the Caribbean nation are too dangerous to use for overland transport due to gang attacks and roadblocks. This isn't the first time a helicopter used by the WFP is hit by gunfire. Last July, an apparent stray bullet hit a helicopter while parked at the Tahitian Lavashoe airport in Port-au-Prince. Thus, this helicopter shooting will, I quote, likely, end of quote, cause U.S. airlines to halt their operations once again in Port-au-Prince. Last March, major U.S. carriers like Spirit, JetBlue, and American Airlines suspended their operations at Port-au-Prince International Airport for nearly 3 months after a sudden spike in gang violence. Gang violence in Haiti has spiraled in recent years, with attacks becoming more brazen and violent. Gangs in Haiti control much of the capital, and the ongoing violence has left nearly 700,000 Haitians homeless in recent years. The UN reports that 3,661 people have been killed since January this year. Earlier this month, 3 infants were among the scores of people brutally killed in a gang attack in Central Haiti. Members of the Grand Reef, end of quote, gang used automatic rifles to kill at least 70 people in an attack that displaced 6,000 people.
I lost everything. There were lots of people shooting, people running. I fell down on a fence and people passed over me. I couldn't walk because my leg was hurt. I'm not sure what we'll do.
Secretary of State Blinken came here and proposed to bring in UN blue helmets, and it was rejected once again by the UN. I believe the United States is playing for time because of the US elections, but they're not trying to find a real solution. If they want to do something for our country, they should stop the weapons coming here.
It's a joke. They don't have the manpower, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the aerial means, they don't have the maritime means, they don't have the means to move by land. So they are tourists.
Tourists, that's a sentiment you hear often here. We managed to talk anonymously with officers from the Haitian police. Every day they're out, either alone or together with the Kenyans. But they're not too happy about them.
Since they have arrived, they usually don't really want to enter the risk zones, the hot zones. They often tend to retreat. They often tend to return to their base.
And another not too subtle warning left by the gangs: human skulls.
The skulls are usually elected there in order to intimidate us, like sending a message, hey, don't make an attempt of coming through this street. We are here. But now, as you can see, the street is open, but most likely we may be shot at. So we are going to push them right now so that you can see what we usually do.
A few meters before we reach the barricade, we see people running.
Those are civilians, They start running away because they know a shootout may begin any time. Is it moving?
Something hits the hatch above us. The smell of petrol engulfs us.
Look there.
Instead, the burning Molotov just misses our accompanying vehicle. They target the rest of the convoy, shooting from abandoned buildings. The Kenyan forces in the second vehicle fire back. Meanwhile, the commander is getting information from his drone operator. He warns they're preparing to throw more petrol on us.
The Tudas actually, they have started positioning themselves with bigger containers than these ones, bigger ones. That is 5 liters and above. So that when you go just below the building, they pour the fuel on us and then they burn. This was like a sign of a warning.
Not long ago, Mugu was inside this vehicle when it was attacked and set alight, but they escaped unharmed.
If we go there, they might ban us right now. So going there, it needs a lot of planning. As for now, we cannot go back there.
But when I want to film across the bay,
snipers everywhere.
It becomes clear, secured, but not fully safe.
It's very dangerous. It's dangerous. Of course it is.
A few months ago, when the first contingent of Kenyans arrived in Haiti, we had high hopes. If you talk to people, people were expecting that the Kenyan force would be effective against the gangs. But months later, what we are observing is an untenable situation where, at first the gangs were stunned. They were trying to understand how effective this force could be, but over the past weeks, they gained confidence, and they are not just, controlling key roads and key neighborhoods of Port-au-Prince, but they are expanding their territories. They are expanding the siege of violence against the Haitian population today in Port-au-Prince, but not just in Port-au-Prince, the capital, but also in other parts of the country where, in some parts you did not have a violent problem before. Over the past months, at least since the end of February and March, they launched what they called Vivre Ensemble, living together, which is a huge coalition of gangs, the main ones we have operating in Port-au-Prince, but also outside of the capital. So we have different criminal entities. Each of them actually have different interests, putting themselves together, getting together to fight against the Haitian National Police and the Kenyan force. And, in the middle, you have the Haitian population, more than 500,000 people displaced by gangs. They are coming to neighborhoods, burning down houses, and so in chaos all over Port-au-Prince, but also outside of the capital. It means life is, extremely difficult. It means, the street markets, for instance, not continuing to operating. It means, when gangs come to your neighborhood, these are terrorists, basically. Sexual violence, for instance, is a huge problem. You have, they come in and burn down houses, and people have to be displaced. And even in the camps, actually, where people try to find shelter, what we are observing, and we reported before a post, is gangs are infiltrating these spaces, trying to force people to pay so they can have access to the humanitarian aid. We are, and on top of this, you also are observing a complication of the political scene in Haiti today, where the folks who are supposed to lead this mission, who are supposed to lead this transition, you have to remember Haiti has today 0 elected officials. They are fighting for power. They are fighting over ministries, while the situation, the security situation is deteriorating. Well, I do think that the main priority today is to take care of the Haitian population that is suffering for months and months under the stronghold of the gangs. And these gangs are now notorious for their brutality and lack of respect for human dignity and human life today, right? I think that the main priority is to have some relief on the security front. If we spoke to the Kenyan force, and what they are complaining about is a lack of equipment and personnel to effectively fight back against the gangs. We are also observing and report that with a report that we have tensions between the Haitian National Police officers and also the Kenyans. This is also complicating any actions on the grounds. We know that they are conducting some operations, and some of these operations are starting to give some results. For instance, a few days ago, about 20 gang members were killed in the capital, but it's not enough, because they have yet to show any big victories against the gangs since the Kenyan arrived in Haiti, and that's the main thing that they need to address. More personnel for the Haitian forces and the Kenyans, and more equipments for both forces.